All right, if you could each say your names for me and, well, spell them as well, just for clarity.
My name is Shirley Blake, and you spell it Shirley. Last name Blake, Blake.
My name's Jeff Van Arsdall, and it's Jef, one F, VAN with a space and then a capital ARSDALL.
Okay, lovely. Yeah, so the first question I wanted to ask is, you both have seen a lot of emergency situations over the years. In what way was this one different or unique?
Well, I guess I can feel that simply. This one was different and unique in the way that it was on Thanksgiving Day. And so our resources were pretty thin. The search and rescue coordinator for Benton County was actually out of the area. And so Shirley, being second in command with search and rescue, this was her first opportunity to get out into the field and actually oversee a recovery or a search, and to work closely with some of our partners in Lane County, Lynn County, some Polk County, the Coast Guard. I mean, it was a lot of moving parts, and it's on a holiday, so it was a challenge to try and I shouldn't say that. We thought it was going to be a challenge to get people to respond. In the end, it really wasn't, because folks are pretty gracious and pretty giving, and we were able to muster up a lot of search teams.
Well, that's awesome. In terms of the overall search and rescue effort, like the searching specifically, how difficult was it with the conditions, and what were the conditions like out there?
So like Sheriff said, the most challenging thing was that it started as on Thanksgiving Day Eve. And some of those searchers were trying to sleep to try to come back. And then some folks were out of town. And so the challenge of it being Thanksgiving Day, right? Eventually we did end up with a lot of volunteers, but kind of starting off, that was a challenge. As far as the weather, luckily it wasn't raining, but geographical location, it is the coastal range, and the brush, it's a forest, it's thick. And yeah, the undergrowth is super thick, and then the ravine was steep. So those were some challenging factors in the search.
I see. So, as you're probably very well aware, time is always of the essence in this type of situation. How do you, in your profession, stay calm when most of us would be like kind of freaking out trying to find a lost family member or a lost person?
Well, I can tell you from a search and rescue coordination effort, these are trained professionals, from the volunteers to Shirley and the folks with Lane and Lynn County, so we're there helping. We have one goal, and that's to do this as quickly as possible, and bring the person home and bring them home safe. And folks should rest easy knowing that that's the goal. And when this type of thing happens, it's amazing to see it actually come together, and it's seamless. Like they pull up with a truck, they open it up, there's the computer, and they just start going to work and giving assignments. And as folks come in, they go out on their assignment, and everybody has their job. And it's amazing to watch it happen. And everybody has the same common goal, and that's to find the person. So as far as this incident goes, it went like it's supposed to go. Shirley and groups were out there until 4:30 in the morning. They came off the hill to get some rest. Of course, I called Shirley at about 6:15 in the morning, so I don't know how much rest she got, and I needed a brief. And then we went back out there first light and just started going to work. And by mid-afternoon on Thanksgiving, we had teams from Polk County, Lynn County, Lane County, Benton County. The Coast Guard was flying over. I mean, it was amazing coordination. It all just came together. It was really cool.
Shirley, do you have anything to add to that, or did Sheriff sum it up?
Sheriff did a great job. The only thing I would add was, yeah, so on Wednesday evening, we were there. We started searching closer to 10:30, 11 p.m. And then since we had folks out there, we decided to search as long as possible. And so we wrapped up our search, like Sheriff said, at 4 in the morning, and then got back to planning the second operational period, which was, partly asking for more resources. And like Sheriff said, we were out there by 8 a.m. to continue the second operational period.
And there were some folks, including Shirley, that I had to order out of there because they hadn't been to sleep yet. And it doesn't benefit anybody when you're not rested. And then on top of it, it is Thanksgiving, and I would like her to get home and see the family and everybody at least have an opportunity to say hello, tell them they love them and go back. So Shirley she's just like the rest. She's super dedicated, and it was cool. It was really fun to watch.
Awesome. Well, when you found Joe, what was his condition, and like what were the moments leading up to his discovery?
I can speak to it a little bit. Simply is that he's an older gentleman and he didn't intend on being out there, so he wasn't necessarily outfitted to be out overnight. Fortunately, like we said, but previously, with the Coast Guard on hand out of Newport, that they were able to respond really quickly. And you go from locating the individual now to recovering the individual, and he needed to get to a hospital. You saw, I think there was some good video footage. The crews worked to get him hoisted onto the Coast Guard helicopter, and they rushed him off to Good Samaritan Hospital. And I mean, it just all came together. It was pretty awesome.
Yes, the subject was super thankful and he was very friendly and polite and respectful. And I think the joy he had to be found was awesome.
What kind of tipped you off, like, oh my goodness, this is where he is? Like, did he scream? Did he say like, I'm over here, or something like that?
So he did not yell. Due to not wearing hearing aids, listening was a little bit of a challenge. So it was actual visual acknowledgement at first. And then he greeted the searchers that with a hello. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, since, well, like you said, this happened during Thanksgiving, and I know his family was, well, really concerned about him and wanted to see him home. Did that kind of elevate you all emotionally in terms of like reuniting this family on Thanksgiving Day?
Well, what I will tell you is that every search is like that, right? Every one of them's emotionally charged. The family's there. They want help finding their loved ones. And so it comes back to the first question you asked. We have such an incredible group of trained professionals. They go right to work, and to work we went. And you have, like I said, Benton, Lynn, Lincoln, Polk. They were all involved. And then you have the Coast Guard coming over. I mean, it was just awesome. And so every search is unique and different, but every search, the searchers go in there with the mindset of, we're going to go find this individual and we're going to get them reunited with their family. So that's one of the joys in working search and rescue missions, is that reunification. It's an amazing feeling.
Of course. Pivoting a little bit, there was a Facebook post we came across which mentioned your search and rescue academy that you offer. Yeah, tell our viewers more about that and why volunteers are so helpful and integral in these processes.
Yes, so volunteers are extremely important because not everyone's always available when there's a search. Some folks are out of town, and so the more search and rescue volunteers that we have and that go through the academy that have all the skill sets, it's really crucial and important. So a little bit about the Search and Rescue Academy. It starts on March 8th, and it's an 8-week academy that meets Thursday evenings and Saturdays. And in the Search and Rescue Academy, you go through search and rescue strategies and how to use a GPS, radio communications, and there's also an overnighter that you get to put a lot of your skills to the test. It's a really fun academy, and there are still spots available. So please check out our website, Benton County Sheriff's Office in Oregon, and it's under Search and Rescue.
Okay, awesome. Um, well, what advice do you have to anyone who would just be kind of like out exploring in the near future in the coastal range, whether foraging or otherwise, and how can they stay safe?
So I would say go prepared, right? And the three main things is think about fire, water, shelter. Regardless of when you're going out, though, having your backpack on you. Sometimes there's been searches where we find the equipment in the vehicle, so take it with you when you're hiking, even if you don't plan to be out for a very long time. And let a friend or family member know the location that you're going in, and also have a check-in time when you plan on returning. And I know with our friends and family, it was like, this is our check-in time, and start worrying an hour or two after. So,
Right, right. Well, is there anything either of you would like to add, which I did not ask?
I just want to say thank you to Benton County, to the search and rescuers that volunteered their time in Benton County, from Lynn County and from Lane County. Polk County had folks there, the Coast Guard. This was a prime example of a search that went right and everything went right. But I can tell you that this happens all the time, and that we do work closely with our neighbors. And you know, we also send staff to their searches as well. And it's just, if you don't have the volunteers and the folks that are willing to step out and really kind of put it on the line, you know, it's a challenge. I can't do it with just paid staff. You can't have deputies come off the road. And so having these volunteers, and it's amazing. And I can't tell you how grateful I am in Benton County to have the folks that we have.
It sounds like a really successful collaborative effort.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's fun to watch when it works. It's pretty neat.
Yes, it was a very heartwarming experience on Thanksgiving Day. I never imagined eating turkey sandwiches out in the woods, you know, with all these search and rescue volunteers and, you know, also staff. So it was definitely one for the books, and we're very thankful for the outcome, and a huge thanks to all the volunteers.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to stop the recording.